Thank you. Thank you. I don't really need this. I'm gonna push this away. How many of you catch my name? When he said, do you catch my name?
Yes.
Right? So I'll make it really easy for you if you didn't really catch my name. And I'm going to erase this. Okay? So I don't mind if you refer me to PC, that's only one condition. You never got confused with personal computer. Alright? So it's okay for you to refer me as PC. What I'm going to go over is I got a chance to do is I'll try to answer this question. Alright? Quite a few kids say, well, math is really hard. And so when a student asked me, said, make the comment, I said, really? You think math is really hard? Okay. Now, so people normally, students don't realize until they see one, they have a low GPA. Okay. Or when they try to take a test, the test score coming back a little bit low. That's when you realize you have a little bit hard time with mathematics. And if you go through there once, twice, 3 times, then you start to say, well, math is hard. I want to challenge you. Math is actually not as hard as you're thinking. You may wonder, well, I don't know why I couldn't get a good GPA, good test score. Okay, there could be something you never thought about that. Okay, do you study? Okay, do you study? Now, this is what happens nowadays. Okay, so I would ask students, do any of the following is applicable to you? I do not have a textbook. Okay, trust me, it happens. Okay, I currently tutor a student from San Francisco. He's taking calculus at private school. And I've been asking, do you have a textbook? No. His school does not provide students with a textbook. I don't know how you're going to study calculus with a textbook. I do have a textbook, but unfortunately it's in PDF form. All right, because nowadays the iPad, computer is so popular. School decided not to use textbook, but they issue PDF. So what the lead to a question is you don't study. And the third one is, yeah, I do have textbook, but my teacher does not use the textbook. That happens quite often. Now, I'm going to cite an example. A few years back, I tutored a student from San Mateo High. He was retaking pre-calculus, and he had a hard time to maintain about C. So he was struggling to get a C. So come to the problem and said, do you study? Yeah. So what do you study? He showed me what he studied. Okay. His teacher was nice enough not to use textbook. Okay, every time when we run across, teacher will prepare a PowerPoint presentation, and his teacher make copy of the slideshow to every single student. He only studied that slideshow. No wonder he had a hard time. No wonder he had a hard time. Okay, they don't study. Okay, my teacher doesn't teach. That's even worse. All right, it happens in this area. That's a story that I learned from my student last year. What I did is, they were watching video at home, and they do homework, go back to school, they compare answers. Teacher doesn't teach. And they put in advanced class, in calculus class. I don't know how you're going to learn that if the teacher does not teach. So what I'm going to walk you through is, if you want to study, is that a better way to study? So how do you study mathematics? The key word is in how do you study, is you read between the lines. Okay, why mathematics so hard? Because you do not study. Okay, you don't study. 2, you don't know how to study. I mean, when I put a statement here, you don't really understand what a statement is trying to tell you. So I'm going to cite you a couple of examples. This is a very, very typical problem in an SAT test. You're given the product of 2 numbers, less than 0, and which one is left? Which one is the positive or negative? And as we don't know. Correct? S can be positive, T can be negative, and vice versa. We have no idea. We have no idea. So you take this one. So I'm going to throw you another piece of information, see if you really understand what I'm trying to tell you. So now you're given an extra piece of information. Absolute S equal to negative S, and you ask S of S times T is negative, so which one is true? I'm trying to tell you something. Okay? That's something you want to learn. And if you never learn how to read that, then you're going to have a hard time in dealing with mathematics. So what did I try to tell you coming from here? Okay, we learned that in the algebra 1 class. Okay, and this is how your teacher is going to tell you. The absolute value, by definition, is distance of a number from 0. Therefore, the absolute value can never be negative. And then what do you see here? You see the statement right here? And you never question the teacher, say, wait a minute, you told me it cannot be negative, how come I see a negative sign right here? Now, something that would never been addressed. So, does that mean this is negative? You never assume that. You never assume negative x is negative. Negative x can be very possible and positive numbers. Now, so what this statement will tell you is this. I'm trying to tell the number is negative. I'm trying to tell you the numbers are negative, so back to this one here. I'm trying to tell you s is negative, therefore the third statement is true. Now, can you see that this guy got to be positive? So the second statement and the third statement got to be positive. So let me say it one more time. Do you know how to read between lines? That's the key. Okay? Not only happen in your other subjects, happen in your mathematics class. You got to know how to read that. Someone tried to tell you something, and the person was not very nice, didn't tell you up front. They tell you in an entirely different way. You got to know how to read that. Next one. This is a test problem in AMC. Okay, AMC, they put this kind of problem on the test. And you look at the problem and say, wait a minute, you give me one equations, but there are 3 variables. When the number of variables is more than number of equations, it tells you there's no way you can solve for it. Unless. And they ask you, so the problem was expected to ask you, do you know the unless? What's unless? All right, so now here, I'm going to have a little bit exercise. You are looking at a number that is greater than equal to -5 but less than equal to 4. What has happened if I try to square the number? Okay, so I actually put this problem when I'm teaching a class, and my student tried to figure out what A and B could be, and I told them, be very careful, don't get overexcited. Because some students tell me this. Wait a minute, how can it be 25 less than 60? It makes no sense, right? Then they say, well, I think it should be this. It makes more sense. But your answer is not right. This is the answer. And obviously, when we look at negative to positive, we tend to forget there's a number called 0. And we tend to forget that. And the second part of 0 is 0. Okay, so now, let's try to do this. What I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you both x and y are 0. Still a different way. That's what I mean by reading between lines. Okay? Once you got that, then let's come back to solve this problem. This is how you do that. I know the value of x now. Okay? Do you learn that in school? Yes. Had your teacher present a problem like this? No. That's the problem. No, I told you that some teachers does not teach. That's what I mean. Okay? They only have you read the textbooks, and it didn't show you how to read that. Okay, so x equal to 5. Now, I studied hard, but it did not deliver the result I wanted. Probably 80% student would say that. Okay. Now, this is another example. When it comes to Algebra 2 pre-calculus class, this is a very typical problem. You are given the functions, you are asked to evaluate. When I plug in 2 into the inverse function, what is the value? So 99% of students say, okay, that means I need to find the inverse. Yeah, you need to find the inverse, but if you were to type SAT 1, SAT 2, you're going to outspend your time. By the way, you only have 72 seconds per problem for SAT 2 math. That tells you 2 things. The problem shouldn't be very complicated. Okay? Now, they tell you probably don't need calculator. If you know how to handle it. That's the typical problem. So how do we handle that? So let's look at the definitions. Okay, see that? F of A equal to B, the next statement is critical. Inverse of B equal to A. That's what we're talking about, right? So how do we handle this problem? So I'm solving for this equal to 2. And I know x equal to negative 11. I don't even know the inverse. I don't need it. I don't need it. So if you ever come across this problem and you only have 1 minute and 12 seconds to solve the problem, that's how you handle it. That's how you handle that. All right? Now, so therefore, I know the answer is negative 11. Now, this is a very, very good problem. I always put this on the board and ask my student, my SAT student, my pre-calc student say, well, solve this problem in 2 seconds. They say, you're crazy. How am I supposed to solve this one in 2 seconds? Again, the statement that I always put on is, when you're dealing with inverse functions, don't get overexcited. Students will jump and say, well, I need to find the inverse. How do you find the inverse? You can find it. You can find it, but you're definitely going to outspend your 72 seconds if you're taking SL2. So how do we handle this one? Okay, how do we handle this one? Okay, now there's a piece of information in your pre-calc textbooks and your algebra textbooks, and I bet no teacher ever stressed how to read the statement. The statement simply says this. You see that? So your job not to find G. Your job to say your final output sum is initial input. That's it. Got it? Okay, wait, I'm go back. All right. So now, can you see that? Can you see that the answer will be 1.27? Okay, was that statement in the textbook? Yes. How does your teacher present this idea? Again, I want to say that. That's what I mean by reading between lines. All right? So you got an idea, right? You got an idea. You say, okay, I'm taking the composite function of inverse. Got to get 30 degrees, so I know that. Next one, is it going to be 210? No, it's negative 30. Okay, why? Now you have this one. Is it going to be 30? You get negative 30, turn out to be 150. Now, a lot of students try to memorize. That's why they think math is so hard. That's why they think math is so hard. Okay? Now, when I teach class, I make sure that I discourage my students from memorizing. You don't memorize formulas. You want to know why. You want to know why. Okay. Now, this could be on your pre-calculated textbook. Our test could be on SAT. No, it's not going to be SAT because you can use calculator. Okay. When they can use a calculator, whatever the problem that you can solve by using calculator tend not to be on the test. All right. Now, so do you see the piece of information right here? They say, well, don't get overexcited. Make sure that you know your x is in the domain. So the trouble is 210 degrees is not in the domain of the sine function. And there's a bunch of reasons why. Okay, because we have some sort of restricted domain concept. The reason why we want to make the sine function the one-to-one relation. So they say, well, I mean, it's a one-to-one relation. This is true, but you're going to further make sure that this x is in the domain and this in the domain. That's the reason why this is not 210, it's negative 30. All right? That's how you do that. Okay. Now, come to the area that students try to memorize. They're trying to memorize the formulas. Okay. If you run into a student, now go home, talk to your students. What does the teacher tell you when you're taking trigonometry? I can bet you 10 out of 10. Teacher will ask students to memorize. So they memorize the formulas. Whoops, what happened to you? No, okay. No, my slide is a little bit trouble. They memorize the formula. Okay? But you don't want to use these formulas. The piece of information is this guy. This guy right here. Now, do you see this? Did you run into this formula? Yes. You know how to read that. You know how to read that. That's the key. What this statement is saying here, the sum of those two angles happen to be equal to pi over 2 radian, or 90 degrees. So how do I solve this problem? I say, well, I don't want to use this formula here. I'm saying this guy plus this guy equal 90 degrees. Then my x equal negative 95. Okay? So you see that's my point. Your teacher don't really teach. Okay? When you got a textbook, you say, well, how do I read this statement here? The statement simply says that this guy and this guy added together equal to 90 degrees. All right? As soon as you don't recognize that, now why do you think you don't recognize? That leads to the next question. You did not do enough practice. Okay? You have to do tons of practice. That lead to my comments. I tutored a student yesterday morning in my house. He brought his computer, he taken calculus. He only had 10 problems in his assignment. Only 10 problems. No wonder he had a hard time. No wonder he had a hard time. So this is the trend now because the technology, so he got in his book, his school does not issue textbook, period. No physical textbook, no PDF. So his teacher would teach the class, had some notes and assign homework. The homework was on computer. So make the teacher's job super easy. You answer the question, computer tells you right or wrong. Okay? After you're done, computer will send a report to the teacher. And the student don't get it and he doesn't know why he didn't get it. Okay? And no one is going to help you to address the issue. So this is the reason why you don't get it. You need to do this a little bit more until it's too late. What do you mean by that? Until you take a test. So that's what I've been seeing, what happened in our area in the past 2 or 3 years. Okay? You start with some private school, not even public school doing that. Okay, I know that 2 years ago I tutored a student from Palo Alto area, a public school. He was doing his calculus homework online. Online. That was really bad. Okay, because one, your teacher don't know where you got stuck. And from the point of view of student, what's your key concern? Finish my homework on time. I don't care whether I understand or not, as long as I finish my homework. Okay? That's the primary concern. All right. So now this is a very good problem. Very good problem. I really enjoy studying the SAT test problem. Super good problem. Okay? You're given that sine square of angle alpha, sine square angle beta, sine square angle gamma equal to 1.37. You will find the sum of cosine square alpha, cosine square beta, cosine square gamma. A lot of students got stuck. They don't know where to stop. Okay, they don't know where to start it. It's actually, that's my point. The first time you solve this problem, you have no idea how to do that. Okay? That means you haven't done enough practice. It's coming from this piece of information. Okay, you memorize, right? You memorize this piece of information. You don't know what to do with this guy. Turn out to be this. You see that? So I take the first angle, these two angles, put it together, equal to 1, 1, 1. Therefore, 3 plus 3 equal to 3. And you just take in this one, subtract that. Okay? So the issue is, do you study? Do you read between the lines? Do you do enough practice? Okay. So that's something that I really want you to keep in mind. Okay. Now, parents here, you want to go home, you want to observe something. When your student come home, when they decide to do homework, how do they do? They just pull out their textbook, open to the page and start the homework? That tells you they don't study. They don't study. Good. When they get stuck, what do? Do they skip? That means they do not know how to start. So don't study till they know how to start. Okay. The textbook is very, very, very critical piece of tool. So you want to remind your students when you give a start, go back to the example. The exercise was organized by the same order of your example. So example number 1, cover 5 problems. Example number 2, cover only 5. That's why it's extremely important that students have textbook, students read textbook, and students know how to read between lines. Okay? If you don't know how to do that, you're going to have hard time, and then do a lot of practice. That's going to make mathematics super easy. Okay? Super, super easy.